Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Tripp Athletic Center on the campus of UMass Dartmouth for the second semifinal matchup in the 2018 Little East Conference Women's Basketball Tournament, and it pits the second-seeded UMass Boston Beacons against the third-seeded Southern Maine Huskies. Hello, everyone. John Cabral alongside Brian Clemenson as we get set for the second and final game of tonight. UMass Dartmouth has already advanced to the championship via a 76-63 victory over Eastern Connecticut, so the winner of this game has a date with the host tomorrow with a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line. And Brian, these are two teams that really separated themselves from the pack. This has seemed like UMass Dartmouth's year all year, but these two teams have definitely been next best. They both lost each of their two regular season matchups to UMass Dartmouth. Aside from that, they've pretty much cleaned up the conference, but so far UMass Boston has had the edge over Southern Maine, winning both those regular season matchups.
Yeah, they have won both of those regular season matchups. However, when you take a look at the schedules, a much stronger non-conference schedule for Southern Maine. You can't really say that too much about UMass Boston. They pretty much just rolled through that schedule. You have Nescacs on that schedule for Southern Maine. They even beat Colby in one of those games. Yes, they lost to Bates. Yes, they lost to Bowdoin, but Bowdoin also demolished UMass Dartmouth earlier this season. So when you take a look in terms of strength of schedule, I think Southern Maine has that edge. And I'm not just saying that UMass Boston, even though they got that good overall record, I don't think it's necessarily a lock. I think we're going to see a very good game here tonight.
And a neutral site game in the truest sense, the home court for neither of these teams. UMass Boston just about an hour up the way. They figure to bring a number of fans here, but Southern Maine, a program that's so storied in championship tradition that they're not going to sit on the fence and wait to see if they make it tomorrow to travel to a game. They're going to come to this one because they expect to succeed.
Yeah, they do expect to succeed. A few down years, but they are back in the picture this year. Yes, just a 14-12 record overall, but they were competitive once again this year in conference play, and you don't really get these opportunities too often, and Southern Maine certainly dropped off a little bit, and here they are, the chance if they win tonight, get in that championship game, and you know they're going to be heading right for UMass Dartmouth tomorrow if they get there either side, as it would be such a story to get an upset on a team that had a perfect season in conference play, and then overall with the lengthy winning streak that UMass Dartmouth is on.
So the Huskies and the Beacons will look to see which team stays overnight here in Dartmouth and comes back tomorrow. We'll have that game for you next on Little East TV and DC TV.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tripp Athletic Center at UMass Dartmouth for tonight's second semifinal. We've got the Southern Maine Huskies, the third seed in the tournament, 14-12 overall in the year, 9-5 in Little East play, taking on the UMass Boston Beacons, who are an impressive 23-3 on the year, 12-2 in the Little East Conference. So they are getting set to take the floor. Winner tonight takes on UMass Dartmouth tomorrow in the conference championship game. And the loser, of course, goes home. Neither of these teams being seriously considered for at-large bids, so chances are you've got to win your way through the weekend in order to advance to the NCAA tournament. And now we'll have tonight's starting lineups brought to us by public address announcer Greg Antonelli.
From UMass Boston, a freshman forward from Cromwell, Connecticut, number 33, Gianna Williams. From the University of Southern Maine, a sophomore forward from Turner, Maine, at number 31, Chantel Eels. From UMass Boston, a senior forward from Boston, Massachusetts, number 34, Raven Kelsey. From the University of Southern Maine, a senior guard from Quinnipiac, New Brunswick, number 12, Emily Nicholson. From UMass Boston, a freshman forward from Plymouth, Massachusetts, number 1, Joey Grossi. From the University of Southern Maine, a freshman guard from Gorham, Maine, number 15, Kristen Curley. From UMass Boston, a senior guard from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 3, Lydia Vital. From the University of Southern Maine, a junior guard from Fairfield, Vermont, number 20, Kimberly Horrigan. And from UMass Boston, a senior guard from Coventry, Connecticut, number 22, Katie Matthew. The head coach for the Beacons is Christina Paul. And the head coach for Southern Maine University is Samantha Allen.
All right, so we are ready for basketball here as we had a national anthem prior to our first game. So we will roll right into action. As you heard, UMass Boston, coached by Christina Baugh in her third season, assisted by Antonia Macklin, Shante Bonds, Jesus Rodriguez, and Kirsten Morrison, who is a terrific basketball player at UMass Boston in her day. And over on the Southern Maine side, Samantha Allen is the third-year head coach, really getting things turned around. She's assisted by Rachel Burns and Denise Holmes in her starting five tonight. Emily Nicholson, Kristen Curley, Kimberly Horrigan, Miranda Nicely, and Chantel Eels. And that's a team that's had a fantastic season on the Little East circuit, if not overall, 14-12 overall. But they've had themselves a very good year to this point so far. Grossi, Vital, Matthew, Williams, and Kelsey, the starters over on the UMass Boston side, as it is Joey Grossi, the freshman forward out of Plymouth, Mass, getting the start here tonight for the Beacons. Southern Maine is technically the visiting team, having the lower seed in this neutral site game, so they're wearing their road Navy uniforms. UMass Boston, the home team, they are wearing whites as the number 2 seed, so we are underway. John Cabral and Brian Clemenson bringing you this one from the Tripp Athletic Center in Dartmouth tonight. Winner advances to championship Saturday. And, of course, the Little East tournament carries with it automatic qualification into the NCAA tournament as Chantel Eels steals the inbound pass. And now Southern Maine is in business on its first offensive possession of the ballgame. Nicholson backs it out, lobs off to the left side. It's a less full gym than it was for the first game. Of course, UMass Dartmouth as the host had a lot of fans in there and some electricity in the building as well. That'll have to build up as this one goes along, as this is kind of a family and friends affair. You expect tomorrow's crowd would be bigger, having not only the host, but also teams will jump in a little more if they think the team can win a championship. More people will come, especially on a Saturday, as that three-pointer misses from the wing, but an offensive rebound taken by Vital. Lydia Vital, a senior guard from Cambridge, Mass., transfer from Keene State, a fellow team here in the Little East Conference, as the left-handed shot misses short. Brought up to the top side and swung around left. Lob entry down to the block. Pass into the lane. Kicked up top. Three ball from on high is good. Good-looking shot there by Raven Kelsey. And the senior out of Boston, Mass., and John D. O'Brien gets the Beacons on the board first.
Great ball movement there. Second chance bucket as well after Vital came in and got that offensive rebound.
Foul called. And they'll get Matthew for the foul as her first of the game. We'll take another look at that tray.
Great movement there. You see that pass there from Williams. Wide open was Raven Kelsey, and she is able to connect. One thing worth noting, Southern Maine started out the year losing their first 6 games. They played some pretty tough teams when they opened up the season. So remarkable, too, they're able to turn it around, as some teams could be in trouble really packing in, but they did not.
Entry pass. Tip taken back up top by Eels. So both teams having a little bit of trouble getting going offensively, just 3 points in the first 2 minutes. And the Huskies still looking to get on the board tonight. Three-pointer from up top, no good, and a defensive rebound secured by Grossi. Ball up top now. Three-pointer from straight on is up and good. Joey Grossi gets UMass Boston in front by a score of 6-0, and if the three-pointer is falling, it's a very good chance that UMass Boston will be going to tomorrow. But a defensive breakdown and a bad one as Emily Nicholson goes in uncontested for a layup. Nicholson coming by way of New Brunswick, Canada to get to USM, and she gets the Huskies on the board, now 6-2. Dribble drive down to the end line. And kicked up top. Thrown off to the right side for Matthew. And up to the top of the key. 10 on the shot clock. Tossed up high, and Kelsey called for a travel. Made the shot, but the whistle was blown first. And the Beacons will make a substitution as they'll get Shania Osborne onto the floor, a 6-foot freshman center from Mansfield, Connecticut, as you get a glimpse at Samantha Allen, the third season head coach of Southern Maine. And you certainly were up that way on the Keene State beat a couple years back. You really saw the deterioration of one of the most storied programs in all of women's basketball at Southern Maine. What's gone on there these last couple of years? It's allowed Samantha Allen to build them back up, getting closer and closer to what they once were.
Well, she did not have too much to work with, wasn't left with too much when she first started. And as each year she's had some better recruits get in. They've really gelled together.
Southern Maine came the closest, I think, of anybody to beating UMass Dartmouth in conference play this season as that ball is loose, goes out of bounds, last batted by Vital. Southern Maine had a 16-point halftime lead in their game here at UMass Dartmouth earlier this season. Ended up losing the game, of course, as UMass Dartmouth went on to go 14-0 on the league circuit. Now you get a look over at the UMass Boston side as Christina Baugh, third-year head coach, on the floor over there. You see very vocal from her bench early. 2007 graduate of Providence College, where she played some ball as well. Vital races into the front court in transition. Will take it all the way in. Got to hit that. Got a little too much spin on that off the finger roll.
Have to make a layup right there. That's a bucket that she definitely would like to have back. Instead of being 8-2, it is still just a 6-2 game.
In the tournament format, we will have media timeouts tonight. They'll come at the first whistle after the 5-minute threshold, and that didn't seem to spin as much off her hand as it did on the back of the rim, so perhaps just an unlucky spin more so than an unlucky bounce as that ball goes out of play. 6 minutes remaining in the quarter, and the Beacons will go still deeper into their bench, so Christina Baugh making some very early substitutions in this one. She'll make some more as Jelani Jackson comes in, as well as Megan Dixon. It'll be a sideline out of bounds. Nicholson gets ready to put it in play and does to the corner. Nicely. Goes into the lane. Left-hander blocked inside. Good defense by Osborne, and the ball will go over to the Beacons. 5:53 to go first period. UMass Boston in front by a score of 6-2.
To get back to that schedule real quick for Southern Maine, they lost to University of New England. They'll be playing in the Commonwealth Coast Championship game tomorrow. Lost to Smith College. They are hosting the NUMAC women's side of things.
Entry pass scored upon by Shania Osborne. So Osborne getting it done at both ends of the floor. And we get a timeout called here early by Southern Maine. So they'll step over. It's a 30-second timeout, but it'll trigger the media timeout. So they'll have some full time as you get a look at that entry pass. So 8-2, the early advantage for UMass Boston. We'll take our first break of the evening and come back on the other side. Your score, Beacons 8, Huskies 2. You're watching the 2018 Little East Conference Basketball Tournament on Little East TV.
With the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
.538 remaining in the first quarter. UMass Boston is out to the early 8-2 lead. Hit a couple of three-pointers in the opening minutes of the game, and they really haven't had Southern Maine make a big push at that lead yet. You see the UMass Dartmouth players now spectators for this game number 2, but if you're Southern Maine, you know, those three-pointers, they add up on the scoreboard, of course, but they're isolated incidents. It's not like you're getting outplayed in this game, but you're down 6 right now. What do you need to do to get that offense going before it's too late?
Definitely need to start executing on their shots. Just 1 of 5 from the field so far in this one, and I think they got to just keep moving the ball the way that they have. And they've had some good ball movement in this one. It's just going to be a matter of whether they can execute.
And it should be an out-of-bounds play. That's a good call there in the corner as Saving it in for UMass Boston was Megan Dixon, but her left foot clearly had planted itself out of bounds prior to the pass. And you just have to believe me on that. 5:22 remaining in the first quarter. 8-2 the advantage for USM. Good spin move, but a double team and a good one inside. Boy, were the Beacons ever ready for that as Osborne and Kelsey collapsed on the shooter. That should be a travel there, and it is. So not a lot of offense here, at least in terms of half-court play. UMass Boston still riding the wave of those two early three-pointers to an 8-2 lead with under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. So the Beacons will certainly take this. They'll shorten up the game as much as they can with a two-possession lead and then go at it once these offenses wake up. Good entry pass, double team, right-hander almost spun up and over the rim. Not quite enough mustard on that by Osborne. And so the Huskies will bring it back down the other end, still down by 6. Deep three from the right side, no good off the back rim. That was an attempt by Nicholson. Nicholson has their lone points of the game. Three ball from the wing is up and good, and that'll cut it in half. Alexis Strolovitz able to score, and all of the points scored by Canadian players right now for Southern Maine. Not every day you can say that. And she hails from Montreal, Quebec, but came from the New Hampton School in New Hampshire. Entry pass a little too far out in front of Osborne. That's what I was talking about, Southern Maine not being outplayed. This game's been played kind of low by both teams. So you make one three-pointer, you benefit from one turnover, and now here you are with a chance to maybe tie it in 4 minutes left. Entry pass down to the block. That's some good interior defense. That's a tough shot, and a good job by Eels to go around Shania Osborne and score it 5 in a row for the Huskies.
And that's what they need. They just need someone to be able to spark this offense, as they had been knocking on the door, and it's just a matter of execution, and they've been able to.
Three ball from the corner, bounces no good off the side rim. And thrown again for Howrigan. Bounce entry down toward the block, and another travel. They call that on Eels. Quick whistle there. And Southern Maine making a substitution.
Both teams now with 3 turnovers in this game.
Miranda nicely getting in there. 3:26 remaining in the first quarter. As you see, UMass Boston has the lead, but they've been stuck on 8 points for an awfully long time now. Got that 8-2 lead pretty early. And it's been all Southern Maine since, as they still look for a way to flip this over and get a lead. Pass out to the left wing for Jackson. Jackson's bounce entry and get a foul on the floor. Haven't been a lot of fouls called yet in the quarter. And they'll get that one on Eels, her first.
Southern Maine University foul, call number 31, Chantel Eels, her first, team first.
You can see Samantha Allen pleading her case over on that side. Ball on the baseline. As they'll look to put the ball in play. Good lob entry and can't get the finish there for Grassi. Can't ask for a much better action on the baseline out of bounds. That's one that's got to go through the hoop.
Have to convert right there, as just a breakdown defensively there for the Huskies. Can't let that ball get in right there. That should be an easy layup, but they get a break.
Three ball from the wing, no good off the front rim. And corralled along the baseline, kick back up top for Nicholson. Wing three, way offline. And it seems like both offenses are thinking the same thing. Low scoring game, we make a half dozen threes, we'll win the thing. And that ball was out of bounds as Grossi back-to-back mistakes along the baseline. And seems like both teams are kind of in a trap where they think they can three-point shoot their way out of their offensive problems.
Well, that certainly will not be the case, as both teams have just made 3 three-pointers combined. 2 of 6 of the Beacons, 1 of 6 is Southern Maine.
Good entry pass, inside out. Another three-pointer from the right side. That one is good. Katie Howe checks in. Howe off the bench gets her first points of the night, a sophomore guard from New Boston, New Hampshire, and Goffstown High. And for the first time tonight, the Huskies have the lead at 10-8. This is an 8-0 walk more than a run for the Huskies. Nevertheless, they are in front, or they were when I said it, as immediately Megan Dixon comes up with a pair, and that ties the game at 10 with 2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Well, Dixon had an opening, and boy, did she take advantage of it. Just went right through and banked it off the glass.
Pass out right, kicked up top, step through the lane, right hand float, no, hits all glass, and thrown out to the wing for Vital. Across to the left and brought up top. Deep three this time. Good shot right down the middle by Vital. Might just be a three-point shooting contest tonight.
Well, that's what it seems early on here in the first quarter.
1:24 remaining. If they make him, I won't have a problem with it. 3 ball from the wing. Do we have an answer? Yes, we do. Heating up here in the trip late in the first quarter. Kristen Curley knocks that one down. A local from right down the street from campus in Gorham, Maine, and we're knotted at 13 with 1:07 remaining in the quarter. 3, and another one! Anything you can do, I can do better right now on the semifinal. Dixon with the triple, and the Beacons are in front again, 16-13. Good defense inside by Grossi as they get the block. Still 10 to shoot for the Huskies. Do they want another 3 here? They go back into the post and up top. Long 2, no good. Rebound for the Beacons, and we'll see if they can widen their margin at our first checkpoint. They'll hold back, try to end the quarter on offense. The shot clock is still on, but there's a difference of under 1 second between the two. Jelani Jackson backs it up, now goes to the dribble, steps through, passes to the wing. Do we have another? Yes, we do! Back-to-back threes for Megan Dixon as she bursts into an 8-point quarter. And this freshman-laden UMass Boston team lighting it up here late. Do we have a half quarter at halftime? Watch this go in even though the quarter was over. No, off to the right a little way. So it was a very boring first 6 minutes, and then it turned into a light-em-up three-point shooting competition thereafter. And UMass Boston at the end of one has itself a 19-13 lead over Southern Maine. We'll take a break and be right back with second quarter action. You're watching the 2018 Little East Tournament on Little East TV.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport. It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Welcome back to the trip. It'll be a sideline out of bounds for Southern Maine to start the second quarter, and no sooner will Brian Clemenson and I bemoaning the lack of three-point shooting in this game that both teams just caught fire at the same time.
Beacons 5 of 9 from behind the arc now.
As Beacons come up with a stop on the first possession of the quarter, Raven Kelsey brings it into the front court. Give UMass Boston a lot of credit for playing just about a perfect final minute of the quarter to make sure that they got themselves a lead, even though the teams had been playing very evenly right up to that point, as we get a foul. 9:36 remaining in the half, and it looks like it's on the floor as they're not lining up for free throws. Foul will be against Southern Maine. It'll be their first of the quarter.
Southern Maine University fall, number 25, Morgan Eliason, her first, team second.
Right-hander, no good, but an offensive rebound and a good one. Excellent work down low by Osborne. 3 ball from up top, no good. And getting big for that rebound is Kristen Curley. That ball was loose. Would have been a jump ball, but it was 2 players from the same team grabbing at it. So Southern Maine really lucks out there as they bring it into the front court. Wide open three at the top of the key, misses a little bit short. As Nicholson thought she had it, was drifting back to play defense, but nevertheless, Curley able to get the second chance points, and Southern Maine picks up a couple right there. 5 on the night now for Curley, and it's a 19-15 score with 8:55 to go in the first half. And there's a foul. We'll see which way this one goes. Get another look at our previous basket first.
That offensive rebound right there, put right back up, just going right to the hoop.
Foul is a defensive foul. It's the second one on Chantel Eels, so that may force Samantha Allen's hand a little bit, as there's some quick offense for UMass Boston, as knocking out that shot was Katie Matthew. Matthew getting her first points of the game, a senior out of Coventry, Connecticut, and East Catholic, one of the very strongest high school basketball programs in Connecticut. As the ball comes inside, we had a foul. They're saying that's on the floor before the shot. That's stiff.
That should not have been on the floor right
Halligan
there.
was definitely in the process. That's a break, I think, for UMass Boston, as it keeps the ball on the floor. Osborne called for her first foul. 8:34 to go in the half. Ball into the block. And we have a foul inside. That one pretty soft as well. Srolovitz looked to be out of control coming through the lane, but it seems to be what Christina Baugh is saying to the officials as well.
You see that quite a bit where
and
player out of control.
On Osborne. Yeah.
Where they can just get bailed out there. A little bit of contact, but just enough to get the whistle. That's how they call it, though, now, it seems like.
2 and the foul, and that time apparently it is continuation for Srolovitz, so she will head to the free throw line. Now with 5 points on the game. Excuse me, that's not Srolovitz. Getting the zeros confused. Kimberly Harrigan going to the line. A junior out of Fairfield, Vermont, and Bellows Free Academy. Here's another look. Misses the free throw, but the Huskies come away with a rebound, so a chance at a real bonus possession. As the ball dropped back for Nicholson. $8:15 to go in the first half. Winner of this one draws UMass Dartmouth tomorrow. 3, no good. Rebound plucked down by Kelsey. Dribble up ahead, step back. This will be a 2. No good off the back rim anyway. Offensive rebound for the Beacon. Shot got bothered on the way there. Not enough from Matthew. Ball loose on the floor. A lot of contact, but no whistle. Beacons come away with the ball. They'll get thought we'd see a three-pointer from Kelsey, but she gives it up. Takes it back with 17 to shoot. Bluffs on the 3. And the Beacons taking some air out of the ball here as Vital will back it up. They're ahead by 4, and they've got 8 seconds to shoot. Vital burst through the lane, let that go a little too early. Defensive rebound for Srolovitz. Three-pointer from up top, no good. Rebound taken by UMass Boston. Matthew almost left that up there a little too long, let it get stolen out of her hands, but muscled it back down just in time. 7:10 left. Beacons in front as the scoring is again slowed down as we had a flurry of activity for about 3 minutes. And it's been a ho-hum offensive game otherwise, as you see another miss there as Nicholson comes away with the board. Entry pass down to the block. Harrigan tiptoed in there but couldn't make the shot. Did all the work, didn't get the result. Beacons advance it. Good pass across the lane for Kelsey, and she's able to bank it in off the window. 5 points for Raven Kelsey, and this time it's Christina Baugh that wants the timeout, which will extend into our media timeout. Take another look at this first.
Great ball movement up the floor. Nice pass across the lane, and able to put that one in easily is Raven Kelsey, averaging exactly 8 points per game. Solid numbers with the 6.3 rebounds per game as well, so able to do a little bit of everything.
So we'll take a break here. 23-17. The Beacons lead the Huskies with 6:41 to go in the half. We'll be right back on Little East TV.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Beacon Huddle looking to come back out to the floor, and UMass Boston did a good job really of surviving the storm by Southern Maine, as really all their offensive efficiency came in a very narrow window. They were able to survive it, get the lead widened out again, and now they've just been able to kind of muddle through this second quarter right in the neighborhood where they want to be up by 6 points.
Decent-sized lead here, and they've been able to do just enough. And the three-point shooting, the big reason why they are 5 of 10 from behind the arc. There's one three-point attempt here in the second quarter, but don't really need too many with the way they shot the three ball towards the end of the first quarter.
These two teams played to a combined overall record of 37-15 in the regular season. This is the time of year when the cream really starts to rise to the top. A lot of teams that have no business being in tournaments get into them because of expanded brackets. Those teams all get weeded out Tuesday night, Wednesday night in leagues around New England. And by the time you hit Friday, the teams left are all teams that can play a little bit. So there's a jumper from the free throw line extended, and it's knocked down. Exactly what I'm talking about there from Emily Nicholson.
There's 3 on the shot clock there as Nicholson let that one go. So nice job there of getting it off before the shot clock expired. Knew how much time was left.
Ball at the right wing, entered down low. That does make it through. A little too much on the shot by Grassi, who's expecting contact and got it. Didn't get a foul call. 5:48 to go as Southern Maine brings it down the baseline. Pretty late whistle there. It's really going to benefit Southern Maine as they'll get a couple of free throws out of it. As marching to the line is Kimberly Hourigan.
UMass Boston foul, call the number 25, Megan Dixon. Her first, team fourth. At the line for the Huskies, number 20, Kimberly Hourigan, shooting 2. Substitution for the Huskies, taking number 23, Katie Howe.
We're getting just 54% at the free throw line, but makes that first one.
First free throw is right down the middle there. It's the last one, excuse me. So now 23-20 the score. Right hand float, no good, but headed to the free throw line is Vital with 5:31 remaining.
And once again, we see a very late foul called right there, and Tal getting the benefit of it, and she'll have a chance here to shoot 2.
Southern Maine University foul, call the number 23, Katie Howe. Her first.
We'll get that foul on Katie Howe. It's her first.
At the line for the Beacons, number 3.
First free throw good for Vital. She's now got 4. Vital able to make her second. She's now got 5, and UMass Boston staying in front by 4 points at the moment, 25-21. With 5:23 to go. Bounced down to the block, kicked up high, and around to the right side for Nicholson. Lob entry, a good one to the block. Shot misses wide, but chasing down her own miss was Hourigan. Didn't catch any iron, so we're down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. Ball stripped will stay with Southern Maine. And this is always such a tough thing. You've got to get the message in from your bench down at the far side. And a wise move being made here by Samantha Allen, trying to make a substitution to get the message in that there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock. But the messenger overran the scorer's table, and she's very fortunate, actually, that they allowed her into the game under those circumstances, Kristen Curley. So now at least one person knows there are 2 seconds left. She's going to take that shot right away, and the shot bounces out. And if that goes in, Samantha Allen looks like an outstanding coach. It was a good move anyway, but when you get those moments, you hope for the payoff. Didn't get it there. Instead, it costs you 3 back the other way. As Grassi knocks down the triple, she's now got 6, and it's a touchdown lead for UMass Boston now at 28-21. Ball out on the wing, backed up at 4:31. Here's Hourigan again, goes inside out. Head fake, but a little too much in the travel on Kristen Curley. And now they'll undo that change they just made for the prior possession. A very quick cameo appearance as they'll get nicely back out there.
And now this is a chance here on this possession to perhaps make it a 10-point game if you get a 3, UMass Boston, as the 3-point ball has really been efficient, 6 of 11.
Ball up top. That's a deep three. No good. Saw a couple of early threes as UMass Boston comes up with the offensive rebound. Dixon hit back-to-back triples in the first quarter. Good work by Jackson to secure the offensive rebound for the Beacons. Ball out to the left wing. Tossed into the corner, but a little too high for Vital, listed at 5'1". Normally that's a pass that goes right into somebody's chest, that time up over her head. So just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. It's a 28-21 lead. Kick to the left, that's another deep three, and you're going to strike the Steph Curry pose. Shot needs to go in.
And a reach-in foul, one that you don't want to commit right there after missing that. It is the team's fourth, but now a chance for one on the floor for the Beacons to go to the free throw line.
Still a lot of time left in the half, 3:40 to go. As the Beacons shake up the mix and they actually put Raven Kelsey back out there with 3:37 to go.
Raven Kelsey and number 22, Katie Matthew.
Shot inside by Grossi. She's able to knock that one through. 30-21 now to lead. Largest lead the Beacons have had all night, as a matter of fact. So they've just kind of quietly stacked up the advantage. There's a turnover, and UMass Boston with a chance to take full control here. Beacons now, if they can catch fire offensively for a couple of minutes, could make this a very difficult game for Southern Maine come the second half.
Well, they did not get the three to make it a 10-point game, but just as good with the two on the last possession. Make it 30-21.
Vital hands it off behind her for Matthew. Matthew gives it out to the left. Grossi dribbling on the floor. Given to the right side. And now lob left for Vital. Rises into a three. Not quite enough. Took it too hard of a bounce off the front rim. 2:40 left to go. Airmailed pass goes to the back wall. And Southern Maine really has just come unglued here these last couple of minutes. What's gone wrong for them? What do they need to get turned around before halftime?
Well, that pass certainly not helping. They have a chance right there to push it up the floor. Probably get a layup, but just too much on it and just too many mistakes right now. We've seen a few passes go off the mark and not getting a few breaks, but that's always going to happen here or there.
Vital bounces out to the wing. Bounce entry to Kelsey on the block, inside out. Three from straight on by Grossi, no good. Howard in the rebound. And another chance for Southern Maine to try to revive their offense before it's too late. 2:05 remaining in the half. Going to be difficult in a low-scoring game to come back from any large margins here. So you want to try to get it 6 or under going into halftime. Right now you're at 9. Still very manageable as long as you can chop it down a bit. Nicely. Bounces it out. Ball at the wing. And 7 to shoot. Toss back up high. Right-hand dribble drive and up and under shot wild. And that'll go out of bounds. Shot clock would have expired anyway. And that's case in point what I'm talking about with Southern Maine. Not only did they not score, they just didn't get anything going on that possession. Ended up taking a poor shot.
Offense has not been able to do much of anything. You got to give credit, though, to the Beacons' defense. The defense has been strong throughout this entire game, but more so as this second quarter has gone on.
Ball out to the right side, entry, and there's a foul. That's a tough foul to give when you're sitting on 4. Foul committed by Morgan Eliason is her first, but the bad news is that's going to put UMass Boston to the free throw line. Got enough problems on the scoreboard right now if you're Southern Maine without giving away free throws. And Megan Dixon, who you've seen one of the better shooters in tonight's game, now at the line shooting 2. Dixon, a freshman out of Hanover, Mass. Her first is good.
Dixon, an 82% free throw shooter, best on the team. Vital at 80%, so they have a few very good free throw shooters, shooting 69% as a team. And you just take a look up and down the sheet, a lot of players in the 70% range as well.
Second one is good. Good trip to the free throw line by Dixon. She's now had a double-digit first half. And UMass Boston smelling blood in the water, going to the full court press. Southern Maine able to beat it. They get an open shot from the baseline, but it rattles out. Offensive rebound. Second chance kisses home off the glass. And Michaela Harton has her first points of the ball game, a sophomore guard out of Georgia, Vermont, and Essex High.
Nice job breaking that full court press, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to have easy looks off of that. They weren't able to connect on the first attempt, but they were able to connect on the second chance, and that's exactly what you want to have happen if you are the Huskies.
Beacons looking to get that lead back up to double digits inside the final minute. Lob entry taken away, not enough on it, stolen by Nicely. And Southern Maine has a chance to chop the deficit down a little bit. Palindrome on the scoreboard right now at 32-23. Poked away. Chance to chase down the steal, and a tremendously athletic play by Vital, who not only got the steal, but just plain out-hustled her opponent to go get the ball and score the basketball. That is the kind of an effort play that wins you a tournament game.
What a job by Vital, as you see this once again just clearly just blowing by her opponent, and she is a transfer from Keene State, so I got a chance to see her play. As that layup attempt no good, but someone who a few years ago, that would have been a reach-in foul. She has gotten so much better at getting those steals, and see that has the ability to finish.
Beacons now can hold out for the final shot. UMass Boston has just been a boa constrictor here in the final minute of both quarters, as they've been able to shut down what Southern Maine's doing and just kind of slowly increase the lead. And that would have been insult to injury had Kelsey been able to hit that one at the buzzer. But UMass Boston putting in work here in the second quarter. They win it by a 15-10 margin, and they will take a 34-23 lead to the dressing room. So a game that's felt pretty even in watching it, Brian. UMass Boston has done the little nickel and dime things to build up an 11-point lead. What are the biggest difference makers to the Beacons through these first 20 minutes?
Well, their offense has been running more smoothly throughout this game. They have been able to execute on their shot, shooting 38% from the field, 6 of 15, 2 from behind the arc. So that is a big difference. Southern Maine has taken 12 threes there, just 3 of 12. And that is just 25% there from behind the arc. So the shooting really tells the big story. Also, too, second chance points. Believe it or not, Southern Maine has 7 in just 3 for the Beacons. But that is something that UMass Boston, with the few chances they have been able to execute.
And it's turned into a dance party here at the Tripp Athletic Center in the last couple of minutes. Might just want to watch this for the whole of halftime. We'll take a break. That kid's not gonna. 34-23, your score at halftime at the Tripp Athletic Center. UMass Boston with a lead. All right, welcome back to the Trip as we are at halftime, just about to begin second half action, 34-23, the lead for UMass Boston over Southern Maine. And for Southern Maine, just a very cold shooting second quarter that really torpedoed a hot end to the first half. You take a look at what they've got. They're down to 29% shooting on the game, and they are just 3 for 12 from downtown, as that number, all three of their makes were in the first quarter. So they went 0 for 4 from 3 in the second quarter, and they went 4 of 15 overall in the second quarter, and that's just piling up on them. They end up going 9 of 31 total for the first half. Not that UMass Boston's putting on a show, but at 38.7%, obviously they're doing much better. Dixon, the leading scorer, she had back-to-back three-pointers for UMass Boston back in the first half. She's got 8 and is the game's leading scorer. And you see the crux of the issue over on Southern Maine. When you're 20 minutes in, nobody has more than 5 points, Brian. That's a serious problem. What are they going to do, and where are they going to go to try to create offense in this third quarter before it's too late?
Well, they're going to need someone to step up. It doesn't matter necessarily who, as you see that all the time in the postseason. It might not be that one person that you expect who carries you all season long. It might be someone else to step up, but they are going to need help. They are going to certainly need Curley, I would say, to really step it up, averaging 16 points per game and only with 5. Also Nicholson with a 10.4 points per game. She's the other big scorer, and she only has 4.
So UMass Boston has both the lead and they get possession to start the second half as the ball comes in play. Vital handles it, and you know, in a game like this, this low scoring, when you've got a double-digit lead and you're on a neutral site, really no reason you should lose if you're UMass Boston, and they've certainly taken that to heart, as Grossi able to score right away on the first possession of the second half. And so UMass Boston in business. They've got their largest lead of the game now by a score of 36-23 on the first possession. Southern Maine has a miss. UMass Boston has a rebound. And this is the thing about these 10-minute quarters is, 30-second shot clock, 10-minute quarter, you can start to really restrict the number of possessions. And they're going to keep this ball with UMass Boston. Certainly looked to my amateur eye that went straight off the ankle of Vital. Nevertheless, UMass Boston going to keep the ball here.
Well, that will just let them use some more shot clock. No reason to rush right now. 13-point game. Southern Maine's offense has shown that they haven't really been able to do too much or get anything together, so no reason to force anything and give them some chances.
Southern Maine with 13 points in the first quarter, just 10 in the second. Step back three on the way, just spits out. Rebound loose. It's another offensive rebound for UMass Boston. Can't win if you don't have the ball.
And we see Tal just dribbling up high, and
wide open three from up top, no good. And really it ends up being a giveaway possession, but it does take some time. Curley comes away with the ball.
Not a good shot right there from that far out, especially.
Why they give it to you. Step back three, no good, nearly a 6-point swing. An offensive rebound by Southern Maine. Both these teams playing like it's the first minute of the first quarter. I mean, there's a certain urgency that needs to kick in here pretty quick.
Well, especially Southern Maine, the urgency needs to kick in, and after that rebound, a chance maybe to go right back up to the rim. Instead, they're going to pass it around, and as a result, they get whistled for a traveling violation.
Entry pass now to Vital, who will bring it into the front court. Backside three, up and good. UMass Boston pouring it on. Katie Matthew with her first triple. She's got 5. And it's a 39-23 lead for UMass Boston with 7:50 to go in the third quarter. And the way this looks right now, there might not be a fourth quarter if Southern Maine can't get this going, and they give it away. An easy turnover. Nobody catching up to Raven Kelsey up the other end of the floor. It's poked away from behind her at the very end, stays live on the floor, and Southern Maine dodges a bullet there. A good hustle play made by Curley, and an offensive foul back the other end. And We thought the last game was sloppy. Wow.
And there's just no tempo really for either side, and they're going to take a timeout here, Southern Maine, a much-needed one. Take a look here. Vital, who just getting set, I think just in time there, was close. Could have probably gone either way, but I think she just got that right foot set.
And Vital's no fool either. When a 5'9 player runs into a 5'1 player, it's always going to look like a charge, and a lot of times you can get that call one way or the other. All right, yeah, here's the fast break by Kelsey, and you see she was in the middle of going up with it, and that was like Dawn Baby on Leon Lett, Super Bowl 27 there. Kristen Curley coming back out of nowhere to poke that one away. UMass Boston chatting on its bench. Really couldn't ask for a much better start to the second half for this. If you're UMass Boston, you get 2.5 minutes off the clock. You add 5 points to the lead. Southern Maine still hasn't scored, and now you've forced Samantha Allen's hand on a second timeout already. She's now got only 2 left with over 17.5 minutes left in the game. But frankly, you know your season's on the line. Neither of these teams really contenders for at-large bids to the NCAA tournament. So if you're Southern Maine, you've got to win this thing. So if you don't call a timeout here, saving it does you no good because the game might be over in 2 minutes.
Does not, and she's got to really try to light a fire under her team. That was the most energy we saw right there on that possession where Nicholson took the charge. It looks like Southern Maine's still here in the morning doing their walkthrough. I mean, they have not looked good at all. I mean, there's just been no urgency, no tempo whatsoever. And you'd think they would come fired up, a chance to get the LEC championship game, because we've talked about it. They were the only team in the conference that actually played well enough against UMass Dartmouth to even have a chance to take them down.
Just under 7.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Winner of today's game gets that third shot at UMass Dartmouth tomorrow. Winner of that game gains automatic qualification into the NCAA tournament. Backside three. Vital's got that one. Much better look for her. The senior tosses another one through, and it's a 19-point UMass Boston lead. Just like that, they very nearly got Southern Maine doubled up. Bounce entry down to the baseline. Extra pass through for a baseline jumper. No good off the back rim. Huskies can't spit in the ocean right now. Bounce pass. Somebody forgot to tell Gianna Williams it was coming.
A break right there for Southern Maine. They're going to need a lot of things to go right to even make this just close as this game wears on. But it has been just such a uphill battle, though, defensively for the Huskies. I mean, there are so many players on this Beacons team that can do something offensively.
Right-handed shot, no good. Rebound ripped down by Raven Kelsey. Kelsey swings it out to the left. Dixon, good pass. Nobody home on defense, and Southern Maine just giving up right now. Grossi with the easiest basket she'll score in this whole tournament, and it's now a 21-point lead for UMass Boston. Nearly a steal there for Vital. Southern Maine still looking for its first point of the second half, over 4 minutes in. Right-hander up and good. So getting the Huskies on the floor for the first time in the second half. Finally, Miranda nicely gets them on the board, and the senior out of Farmington, Maine, has her first 2 points of the semifinal, now 44-25. Dribble drive through the lane, right-hander, no good off the front rim. And the rebound collected by Ills. So can Southern Maine get on a run before it's too late? They scored the last basket on their last trip, looking for another one here. Shot no good. Rebound secured by Williams. Got a media timeout coming at the next whistle, I do believe, because Southern Maine called a full timeout earlier. Pass into the corner, chucked up top, just under 5 minutes left in the third. Ball handed off to the corner. Good entry pass down to Kelsey. They go inside out. Good passing. Haven't had an open shot yet, though. Bounce pass. Williams puts up the jumper and knocks it down. When you're playing with a big lead, that's pretty much the perfect possession there, Brian. You take a lot of shot clock and you convert another field goal. You're up 21 and you take another big bite out of the third quarter.
And exactly what you have to do if you're UMass Boston. Just keep killing that clock, as that is your friend, and make some stops on defense like they just did.
And I see you scrolling through the history book for the Little East Conference. Go back to those glory days for Southern Maine and tell me about how many times they won it, how many consecutive times they won it. Their name is all over the record book as there's a foul that'll send Grossi to the line.
Well, they won the first 5 from 87 to 91. Then they made the finals in 92 and fell to Eastern Connecticut. Then Southern Maine won again, no shocker, in 93.
We'll get you the rest of that list in just a moment as we've hit the timeout. 46-25, the Beacons with the huge lead. We'll take a break and come right back. You're watching the 2018 Little East Tournament on LittleEast.com.
For the love of the game, but for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
And we're back, 4:11 remaining in the third quarter. UMass Boston has opened up a commanding 46-25 lead thanks to a 12-2 run to start the third quarter. And you were mentioning that tremendous success by Southern Maine. I'm at 7 championships before they start an unbelievable run, winning it every year, 97 through 07. So that's what, 7 plus 11? That brings you up to 18. And a 19th for good measure in 2009, a 20th in 2013.
And the list just, at one point, just continuing to grow. And even if they didn't win, they were still in the final. And I mean, that's impressive just as it is. Forget winning it, but continuing to get back to that championship game. The last time they made it to the championship game was in 2014 when they fell.
You see down that list toward the end of it, their most recent championship was over UMass Dartmouth in 2013. That previously stood as UMass Dartmouth's only berth in the Little East Conference Championship game. That, of course, changes tomorrow as they will not only be in it for a second time, but they will host it and play at home. Remember that back in 2013, that's where the big change started for the UMass Dartmouth women as they won 20 games for the first time. They beat the Western Connecticut women in upset fashion in the semifinal. That was really a big, big deal as Osborne misses the shot in close. Remember, she got into foul trouble early and was sitting for much of the first half. Now she's back out there with 3:35 to go in the third quarter. Getting in there and scoring is Kristen Curley. Curley has all 4 Southern Maine second half points.
Southern Maine last making it 2014 when they fell to Rhode Island College. UMass Boston finalists losing to EastCon in 2015 and 2016.
Reaching in there and nearly coming up with a steal as Curley ran out of real estate in front of Christina Baugh on the Beacon sideline. Entry pass comes in as we'll come under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 3 ball from the left side, no good. Dixon thought she had that one. Started to trail off, didn't chase it. And Southern Maine gets an opportunity to try to get a little closer. It's a very good entry pass into the lane and a super late foul call. Going to put Eliason at the line there.
Boston foul, call number 15, Shania Osborne, her third and team fourth.
Osborne called for her third.
At the line for the Huskies.
And now 2 free throws coming for Eliason.
2.
First is good. Second is good. 2:52 left to go in the third quarter. Southern Maine trailing UMass Boston by a score of 46-29, although they've rattled off 4 in a row. Dixon with an entry pass down to the block, kick through to the backside as Southern Maine getting deeper into its bench. Jelani Jackson back out there. It's a steal, a lot of contact, no whistle anywhere. Dixon comes through, kicks back to Jackson. Her 3 in front of the end of the shot clock, no good. Ball bounced up over top of the backboard. Out of bounds, they'll give it back to Southern Maine with 2:26 remaining in the third quarter.
What a job, though, Christina Ball has done with UMass Boston.
It's the man of the hour, Frank the Tank Sherman.
First year in the 2016 tournament.
Right-hander, no good. Rebound taken by Osborne.
Did some damage as a 6 seed. They defeated the 3 Western Connecticut 70-62.
Timeout called by Southern Maine prior to a travel, and just goes to show you, on the one hand, how valuable every possession is when you're this late and you're down by 17. Also shows you just how badly Southern Maine's been playing tonight, that Samantha Allen felt like she had to call a timeout there in order to get out of trouble. Now, that's just 30, but it leaves you with just 1 the rest of the way. Now, I grant that there's no alternative, but at the same time, you need timeouts usually to make a late comeback.
Yeah, you do, but unfortunately the comeback has to start now for Southern Maine as we take a look over there at the Beacons bench. And back to that, Christina Ball's first year, that 2016 tournament. They beat Western Connecticut, who was a 3 seed. They were the 6 on the road. And they made some noise at Eastern Connecticut as they defeated Keene State 51-39 as a 6 seed in the semifinals. I was down there at that game, and I was just in disbelief watching that. And then after that, they fell 64-56 to Eastern Connecticut in the championship as the 6th seed, and that was just a remarkable job going in there as a 6 and making just a ton of noise.
Entry into the lane, block inside by Grossi. Ball brought into the front court with 1:54 remaining. Kicked up high, free throw line jumper, no good, bricks off to the left side. And the rebound pulled down by Curley, who bounces it forward up ahead to Strolovitz. Long 2 is good. So Southern Maine is slowly creeping its way back into contention in this game as they've gotten what was a 21-point deficit down to 15. Can they get it down maybe to 12 or under and have a puncher's chance in the fourth quarter? The immediate answer is no, as Megan Dixon hits an answer three-pointer and that lead goes right back to 18. That hurts.
That's a dagger right there. Three-pointer once again going in for the Beacons as they just continue to shoot at such a good clip from behind the arc as this game goes on.
Steal by Dixon. She's racing up the court, trying to win a foot race, bringing it forward, and Curley doing a great job of bothering a breakaway for the second time tonight. Excellent effort despite the lack of the lead or the chance to come back in this thing. She's really hustling and making plays, and you certainly love to see that. And Curley, as a freshman, you have to figure, has a very bright future with this Southern Maine program. As they go inside out on the pass, catch and shoot, 3, knocked down. That's the first 3 of the second half, and it belongs to Emily Nicholson of Southern Maine. So she's now got 7. And it's 49-34. Maybe one more 3 might make you think you could come back here. Got about a 3-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. So Southern Maine might get another opportunity if they can come up with a stop. There's a travel. Now you definitely get another opportunity. Southern Maine will make a bevy of substitutions here as they get 3 new players on the floor. And if they can come up with another basket, they just might be in business.
Well, don't even need a 3 here on this possession. Just get a basket and then go from there. They also will have the possession arrow as long as nothing changes, but they will have the ball then to begin the fourth quarter, so that certainly will help.
14 seconds remaining. Step to the top of the key. Entry pass stolen away. Racing forward is Kelsey. Kelsey beating the buzzer. Shot no good. She appeared to get fouled, but you're just not going to get that call in that situation. Christina Baugh felt as though they should, and so did the angry dad behind me. End of 3 quarters, though. Your score now 49-34 in favor of UMass Boston. Christina Baugh still upset about the lack of a call right there, but her team in front by a healthy margin as we make the turn for home. We'll take one more break and come right back. Your score, Beacons 49, Huskies 34. You're watching the Little East Tournament on Little East TV.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Welcome back. 10 minutes of basketball left, 49-34 your score in favor of UMass Boston. The Beacons got the lead early tonight, Brian. They opened it up to an 8-2 advantage. 8-2 very quickly became 32-21. And the Beacons just have not let Southern Maine get consistent offense going tonight. And so although Southern Maine will grab 2 points back here, 4 points back there, they just haven't been able to do it in a consistent fashion that's allowed them to come back in this game. It's gotten us to where we are. Looks like we're going to have a third matchup between UMass Boston and UMass Dartmouth come tomorrow.
That's the way it's looking right now, is they've really been able to just continue to keep the lead where it's been. I mean, they haven't really let Southern Maine creep back too much. They've hung around a little bit, but not really in any danger zone.
Kelsey just stealing the ball whenever she feels like it right now, taking up to the front court for Megan Dixon. And Dixon has just doused out the Flames that Southern Maine had going a couple minutes ago. They might try to get their way back into this game. Dixon has had other thoughts. Bounce pass into the lane, inside out. Out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Huskies with 9:27 to play.
Substitution for Southern Maine, checking number 31, Chantel Eels. Number 12, Emily Nicholson.
See some subs come in right now for Southern Maine as they're just looking to mix and match some combinations with their season on the line.
Pass tossed up high. Strolovitz out there, ranging to the right. Brought inside, right-hander bounces out. And the rebound collected by UMass Boston. 9:12 remaining. Throw out to the left side here, three-pointer up, and good. Megan Dixon knocks it down. She's now got 18 on the night. 14 freshmen on this team, and as this game gets a little later, the score stays a little lopsided. There's I think a worthwhile conversation for UMass Boston to have here, as I don't want to discount, and I don't want to have anybody that's a fan of UMass Boston think I'm discounting their chances tomorrow. They're going to be 24-3 after this game ends. They've got as good a chance as anybody at beating UMass Dartmouth tomorrow, at least in terms of this league, and they'll, of course, be the only team that has the chance. But just for sake of conversation, in a 54-34 game at the end of a long day, say they don't win tomorrow. Do you really want to stand pat at 24-4, or do you want to bid with your 14 freshmen and try to get in the ECAC tournament where you can get some more game experience, you can practice for another week, probably win some games down there, probably win
they
that
could probably
tournament.
win the tournament for ECAC for sure. I would definitely go there with a younger team. Now, if it was an older team, that might be something different, but a younger team, it just really...
Never seen that before. You had Chantel Eels get the ball stuck between her shoulder blades. She was grabbing onto it behind her with another one of her teammates. And look how this ball gets trapped in. You've got a jump ball between two Southern Maine players, and then it was just going to go on forever, but then they blew the whistle when Grossi put her hand on the ball for about a tenth of a second just to figure it out somehow. That's a new one for me. And that's a new one for me, too. Wow. But anyway, back to what we were saying. In the event that UMass Boston doesn't find its way into the NCAAs, because as you said, not the strongest of out-of-conference scheduling, it's hard to imagine them getting far enough down the board to get an at-large bid of the NCAAs, though they might deserve it. It can be very hard to get in with all the automatic bids that they give out. So might something like that, like you said, for a younger team be a good bid, chance to go win another 2 or 3 games, get that much more experience, and get the postseason experience.
One thing is, if you always have the chance to, you always should do it. I mean, the one thing, though, it comes down to just the economic side of it. NCAA tournament, you get everything paid for. This is going to be coming out of the athletic department, school budget, and perhaps some fundraising to the team.
Sure.
But if you have the funds available, you have to go do it. That's my thought.
You might even be able to host that tournament if you're sitting at 24-4. Another thing to consider.
Well, if they put in, I mean, that's the thing. Not too many schools want to host it because it's just they're hoping.
What do you mean? Dribble in the lane, kick to the right side. Kelsey brings it up top. Return, Kelsey's going to pop a three. A little too much on that. Offensive rebound.
Let me tell you,
good defensive
schools
play
will
from
do
behind.
anything to try to get out of it. Because Keene was the number 1 seed when I was there, and they found a way out of it, even though they put into host because Sports Information wanted to have a week. They wanted to have a week off.
Absolutely.
So anyone will try to find a way out of it.
Substitution for Southern Maine.
Buzzer sounds, and Katie Howell comes back into the game.
And the sad part is with Keene is they have 2 full-time people, too. One of them was at the NCAA tournament. Big deal. You run the show. Some schools do it with just 1 person.
20 seconds left to shoot. It was definitely disproportionate. Keene ended up hosting ECAC stuff over and over and over again in various sports as Dixon steps in there and scores. She's now got herself a 20-point ball game. Ten left to shoot. Dribble drive, kicked up top. 4 on the shot clock. Dribble drive, right-hand side, thrown up, no good. Rebound collected by Megan Dixon, who really has turned in a fantastic effort for the Beacons tonight, as it looks like they're going to just about put this one to bed in the next couple of minutes. 6:14 left to go here. And this one has really belonged to the Beacons from the opening tap. Three-pointer from straight on, bounces out. And a foul given by Dixon. And it seems like when this game was being played at that high tempo, late in the first quarter, Southern Maine was able to hang in there, roll with it, score a bunch of points. But Southern Maine has really let UMass Boston dictate a very slow pace in this game tonight. And that's really taken them out of contention, as you know, it's almost like the Beacons have lulled Southern Maine to sleep as this game's gone along, certainly into the third quarter. Ball out of bounds.
That's just the type of night it's been for Southern Maine. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the Beacons play it, if they're able to slow down UMass Dartmouth. I think that's probably what they're going to try to do if they want to have a chance. But on the other hand,
3 from the corner, bounces out. Rebound by Curley.
With the way they've shot from 3-point range, I mean, they're probably going to be hoping that they can duplicate what they did tonight, tomorrow, because the Corsairs, they do not have the firepower from 3 if they needed to do that like UMass Boston does. That is a clear edge for UMass Boston, the 3-point shooting.
Jumper knocked down by Eliason. 5:18 to go. There's the ball brought back up top. UMass Boston waiting to make some substitutions. 56-36 your score. UMass Dartmouth won the early game 76-63 over Eastern Connecticut. The 1 over the 4. 3 ball spits out, so UMass Boston is still letting them fly here late, up by 20. So we go under 5 minutes remaining. Theoretically, we've got another media timeout. Whether they'll bother with it in this situation, I don't know. But there's a 3-pointer from out of the wing by Curley. And now UMass Boston will use a timeout that I believe would prompt it or extend it. They're working on that over at the table right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, timeout on the floor.
And they've called that timeout. Now it's a 56-39 game. So UMass Boston with a 17-point lead. It's a full timeout anyway, so we'll take it and step aside. 4:46 left to go. Beacons 56, Huskies 39. We'll be right back on DCTV and Little East TV.
It's on us. It's on all of us. And it's time to act now.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division 3. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
All right, we're back here. 4:46 left to go. 56-39 the score in favor of UMass Boston. John Cabral alongside Brian Clemenson in what's been a snoozer of a game here tonight, but UMass Boston's got no argument with that, as they're getting exactly what they need out of this tonight, and that's a path to the championship.
And they are behind the 3-point shooting. 30 3-pointers attempted, 10 of 30, 33%, and that is just remarkable what they've been able to do from behind the arc. Southern Maine has realized that you're not going to be able to shoot threes if you want to have a chance, even though that's probably what they need to do now. Just 5 of 16 as they've stopped that in the second half of this one. But just a great all-around game by UMass Boston. They played their game. They've slowed it down on the Huskies, and that's exactly what you want to do here, especially in a tournament game or any game. You want to make the team play the way you want to play.
Ball back in play. UMass Boston bringing it into the front court. And sent over to the left side. Thrown inside for Osborne. Beacon's passing, doing a good job using shot clocks right now. Something they did really from the opening possession of the third quarter, which was wise. Started working on the clock right away, and if you do that and you score, you really can't overcome both. If you're down double digits in a game like this, early in the second half, you either need to conserve clock or score quick. Kelsey trying to argue a deflection there, went out of bounds off her own knee. It's just not an argument you need to get into when you're up by 17. It's 4:13 to go as the Huskies will put it back in play. Let's see if they can take one last swing at it here in 2018. Bounce entry. Southern Maine needs a basket on pretty much every possession now. They get one right there as Curley, independent of everything else, has had not only a strong game, Brian, but a strong second half, both offensively and defensively, now up to 13 points.
Someone to step up, and Curley doing so. Just a freshman, so she's going to be around a few more years of this program.
UMass Boston's played a mostly mistake-free game tonight. That's a big mistake as they commit a turnover early in a possession, and a game that looked completely over with 4:16 left looks, well, maybe not quite completely over with 3:44 left as UMass Boston leads it by 14. And you take a look at what happened there. You give up the quick three, you commit a quick turnover. Now you're letting a team that thought they were out of it just a minute ago think maybe you were not out of it.
And I think one thing that they did wrong is they emptied the bench a little bit too early. I think they were too confident with the lead. And Southern Maine, I mean, yes, it's been sloppy, but yeah, got to give them credit. They could easily packed it in, but they have not. And we'll see if we see some subs check. And we see a few player at least going over the table right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more heading to the table.
All right, we're back on camera. How about that? Good to see you again as we're here from the Tripp Athletic Center in Dartmouth. John Cabral here, Brian Clemenson there. And we're having some fun here on a Friday night as UMass Boston looking to get back to UMass Dartmouth for a third go-round with the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs. UMass Dartmouth won both of the regular season matchups against both of these teams, but it was really those wins that the Corsairs had over the Beacons that guaranteed this tournament would be here this weekend. UMass Dartmouth skating past Rhode Island College back on Tuesday night. And also, they get the win over Eastern Connecticut with 3:41 left to go in the fourth quarter. Three-pointer from straight on. That one by Curley will miss short. Southern Maine the last one to touch it, so the chances at yielding momentum going down quite a bit there with 3:33 to go, as you have to figure. The message from Christina Baugh on the bench must have been, hey, there is no reason for us to do anything early in a shot clock for the rest of this game. And now Southern Maine will get into a full-court press.
Excellent job breaking the press.
Beacons break it, but then well coached there. Jackson backs it out. And they'll go more than 10 seconds deep into the shot clock. Open three, shot missed. So still conserving a little bit of clock here is Southern Maine as they're still north of 3 minutes left, but down by 14 again. Needing to play pretty much a perfect game from here on out. Not quite blowout territory, but you're kind of right on that cusp right now. And there's a double dribble. It's going to cost USM a possession with 3:01 remaining.
And then that's not the perfect game that you want from them as this game goes on, as you got a break there that the three-pointer was taken with just 18 on the shot clock, and then you commit a double dribble on a chance where you need an absolute answer right at the other end pretty quickly.
Jackson lobs it across for Matthew, and this is the trouble when you're down by this many, is just there isn't enough time when you can't get turnovers off of a press to do what you need to do. 10 on the shot clock. Dixon gives it up. Dixon to the dribble drive, looking for some more. Got fouled, and will go to the line with 2:31 to play.
It's 1 on the shot clock right there when she was fouled, so successful possession for the Beacons. Just killing some clock with a 14-point game and a chance to extend the lead with the clock stop, but in the grand scheme of things, the objective was done.
It's probably the worst thing you can say about Southern Maine's performance tonight, that they've essentially let UMass Boston run the clock out for this entire second half. And they started that from their first couple of possessions, as the first free throw no good. Still 2:31 to go here. But something we said in the first game tonight as well, it doesn't have to be pretty as long as you win. And for both of the schools in the UMass system, that's what's going to happen here tonight. 2:27 remaining, now a 15-point Beacon lead. Remember, Southern Maine with only one timeout remaining, having to use them liberally in order to try to stay alive in this game. Is that jump shot no good? Getting up there and scoring on the follow is Morgan Eliason. She's now got 4. 13-point game at 57-44. Beacons looking for some more points as Kelsey catches that just in bounds, but we're under 2 minutes remaining now. Really no reason you should ever drop an advantage of this size in 2 minutes. Good passing here by the Beacons to use clock. Kick to Osborne. Her baseline jumper is good, and that'll do it if it wasn't done already. Shania Osborne coming up with her first points of the ball game. No better time to do it than there. And UMass Boston will get the rematch. It's coveted with UMass Dartmouth here on the Corsairs home floor at 4 p.m. tomorrow. It'll be an all UMass affair, Beacons and Corsairs, with a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line. Ball kick back up top to Curley. Curley over to the left side. Shot blocked by Osborne inside, but she stepped out of bounds. Huskies will keep it with 6 to shoot and 1:18 to go. There'll be a baseline out of bounds here for Southern Maine. As the Beacons will start to empty the bench now, Whitney Fulton will come in, and Tajay Mazik will come in as well. Both freshmen out of Norwalk, Connecticut, and Hamden, Connecticut, respectively. Beacons will also get Kaylee Gaudier out there, wearing number 24, as Kelsey will come out. Gaudier, a freshman from Newark, Delaware. Learned a couple years ago it's Newark, not Newark, and if you call it Newark, they get mad, even though it's spelled the same way as the town in New Jersey. Can't blame them. Steal there, and Southern Maine will bring it into the front court. Right hand, take to the basket, turns into 2 more points by Kristen Curley, so she finishes with a strong night. And what have we here with 55.3 to go?
Southern Maine University fall, call number 31, Chantel Eels, her card.
So Eels commits a foul there. Does that mean Southern Maine's fouling to stay in the game here, down 13 in the final minute? Ball in play. Are they fouling or not? Tough to tell, but looks like no. And Southern Maine now will look to get the end of their bench in as well if they'll get another whistle. Not sure. They do have a timeout left they could use for substitutions, but in the meantime, the Beacons just dribbling clock. That's a foul there given by Curley. Staying with a high effort, and you've got to like what you've seen from her tonight. Have to figure she's going to become one of the better players in this conference when all is said and done, but Samantha Allen calling off the dogs here as she will get everybody in off the bench for USM. So everybody we haven't seen here tonight. Michaela Harton, Sevi Diri-Daraps, Elise Slavic all getting out there right now for the first time tonight, as well as Katie Howe, who's been out there already.
And really not a lost season, though, for Southern Maine, bouncing back from a 5-21 campaign last season, 4-10 mark in conference play, and a much improved team, and they can keep it up the way they played after their 6-game losing streak to open up the year. Granted, it was against tough competition. Definitely going to be back up towards the top of the conference in no time.
Sarah St. Surin coming back in, a freshman out of Norwalk, Connecticut, seeing her first action, as it's a job well done by Williams tonight. And 9 wins in the Little East Conference is nothing to shake the proverbial stick at. It's not an easy thing to do. Most teams don't do it every year. And so for Southern Maine to be able to accomplish that is a very nice thing. But their road will come to an end here tonight. They'll finish the year at 14-13, so a winning season and a very nice season on the conference circuit. And like you said, a big step forward for them as they look to build towards some bigger stuff in years to come as you get a foul called with 15.4 seconds remaining. UMass Boston had it to give, and so there mercifully won't be free throws with 15.4 seconds left to go. Ball comes in play up top, three-pointer, no good off the front rim. It's chased down up high, kick to the wing. DeRaps puts up the three, hits the top of the backboard with it. Ball loose, and you just got to hope these 3 seconds go by without a foul, and they do. So UMass Boston gets the win tonight by a final score of 61-46. In the fourth quarter, UMass Boston scores 12 points, as does Southern Maine, but that's the moral of the story. Southern Maine scored no more than 13 points in any quarter tonight. That level of defense by the Beacons is what's carrying them, and they're going to need to do that again tomorrow against a potent Corsair offense if they're going to win the league and go on to next weekend.
And they're going to have to just play one more good game tomorrow. The defense has been key for the Beacons all season long. It was great tonight, and their keys tomorrow against UMass Dartmouth. Well, number one is going to be the defense for sure. They have to do a good job defensively tomorrow, and also, too, they need to shoot like they did from behind the arc to have any chance, because we touched upon a little bit. The Corsairs, that is not their game. They are not going to win in a game like that if they got to start shooting threes. The way the Corsairs are going to beat you down low into Kier Examon and Elisa Cutil has not too many sharpshooters in that lineup or anywhere on the Corsairs team.
Well, we'll be hearing again from Christina Baugh, and a player of her choosing we anticipate will be Megan Dixon, but no way to be sure. And we'll wrap it up on the postgame in just a minute. Your final score here tonight, Beacon 61, Huskies 46. It'll be a UMass Boston, UMass Dartmouth championship game tomorrow. And we'll be right back on DCTV and Little East TV. All right, welcome back to the postgame. The Beacons are victorious. I'm joined by Megan Dixon and her coach, Christina Baugh, as they pick up the win over Southern Maine to get to championship Saturday against UMass Dartmouth. And, Coach, we'll start with you. This was a game that you were able to control almost from tap to buzzer. You had that wild end to the first quarter, but aside from that, you were, for the most part, able to control not only the score but the pace of play. What were the things in your game plan that allowed you to play the game in the way that you played it tonight?
Yeah, Southern Maine, is a heck of a team. We had to really fight tonight. We knew that if we played team basketball and team defense, which I thought we really did tonight, we had great gap defense. We choked the post a little bit, but we also were able to get out on three-point shooters and make them a little uncomfortable. And we can score with the best of them, but if we play like that tomorrow, I think it'll be a really great day.
All right, Megan, it was kind of a slow start offensively for both teams in this game tonight, low scoring toward the end of the first quarter, and then everybody seemed to catch fire all at once shooting the three. You were able to make all those big shots that made sure you never gave the lead away. What were those plays that came your way toward that end of the first quarter that you were able to make sure your team stayed in front all night?
The plays?
Well, you don't have to say what they were exactly, but just when you got the opportunities, how were you able to make those shots and make sure your team stayed ahead?
Honestly, it wasn't just me. I think the whole team, we all made those big shots. My team puts a lot of confidence on me to, make those big shots, and without them, there wouldn't be no play for me to make those big shots. And, I'm just so excited that we won. I'm a little emotional.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Understandably so. So, Coach, you were able to prevent them from scoring more than 13 in any one quarter tonight. Difficult thing to do, the way that they're able to score the basketball. So who was it that was really giving you the most defensively to make sure they weren't getting the looks they wanted?
Yeah, we have a deep bench, and I think that's what makes us so dangerous. But I thought our bench was louder than theirs. I talk a lot about being the best bench. I thought we were just so engaged, and we played so nervous our first game, and my boss told me, once you get the first one out of the way, that we relax, and I thought we did that tonight. I didn't feel like we were nervous, and Megan Dixon got all those shots because we played rhythm basketball tonight. We moved it for the best uncontested shot, and she watched the rim, and we were successful. So we're on to the next. We'll enjoy it for about 30 minutes, and then we'll prepare for tomorrow.
Megan, you've had an incredible season here, 24 wins, but you're still considered an underdog tomorrow. So you and your teammates definitely must feel like you've got something to prove and something you want to show to everybody tomorrow. How important is that, not only to win and win the league championship, but to prove once and for all that you've been one of the best teams in New England all year?
It's so important because, to me, I think that we are the hardest working team in this league for sure, and we want to do this for our captains, our seniors. They want this win and we want this win, and I think we're going to give it our all tomorrow. We're so excited. We're ready.
And hard to do much better than 24-3, but it just hasn't resonated with the regional rankings and things like that. You've got a chance to end all that discussion tomorrow if you can come back and get a win against UMass Dartmouth. Obviously, didn't go your way in the regular season. What things, now you've had a chance to see the film of those games, what things have to change to give you a different result?
We have to limit them to one shot. Boxing out's going to be crucial because they're so powerful at their 4 and their 5. And we just got to play with confidence, Each time it's gotten better. And if we play as confident as we did today and play team basketball on both ends, it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Well, congratulations to both of you tonight, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's going to do it for us here tonight. Something we never thought we'd see is coming our way tomorrow, a UMass Boston, UMass Dartmouth championship game in the Little East Conference Tournament, as everything has come full circle, and we'll have it for you at 4 p.m. here from the Tripp Athletic Center tomorrow on Little East TV. Don't miss it. In the meantime, as whole crew at DCTV, this is John Cabral saying thanks for watching, and so long from Dartmouth.